This is it, the moment we've been waiting for. Scenario 12, the Twin Castle. Leiden and his army breached the walls of the Twin Castle. Once inside, they split into two groups, each group making their way to the top of the castle. Why would they do that? Don't ask me why. As you can see, we've got a whole host of enemy forces to deal with there. 8 versus 8. Fair fight is fine in my book. Here's hoping that they keep it such. So I kind of want to give Leiden some troops, because I got a feeling we're going to be fighting some nasty folks in there. Well, I know we will. Jessica's definitely getting some troops. On second thought, yeah, like I said, I want to give Leiden some men, but I'm not going to. I'm going to restrain myself because I don't think it's going to be necessary. We don't want to prolong this any more than we need to, because it will be a very long battle. A very testing, tiresome battle, but a fun one. One of the best in the entire game, in my opinion. Chris, on the other hand, we do want to give her plenty of monks because, again, normally by this point she would have hit her final class. So she's kind of behind. The more experience she can get in this fight, the better off we'll be. And I don't think I need to give Narm that many troops. Taylor's just going to get a few to help out in the early stages. Don't expect them to make it to the end. And Albert probably will be fine without some, but probably give him a few too. Same as Chris, we want to make sure that he's still getting good experience, so. Now, do I want to leave Thorn and Hawking with 8 is my question. I guess it wouldn't hurt. But we can take some of those off. You don't need that many troops. Then again, maybe we will, so. Again, they're mostly to help out for the beginning leg of this. I regret to say all of our troops are pretty much expendable in this one, so. Defense items go to the usual suspects. Hand out a few attack items and we're ready to go. Where are you, Diegos? We hear you, we smell you. You'll never get to Diegos. This is as far as you'll go. What? Where are we? Jessica, a little stone there. I admire you for coming this far. Emperor Dago says we can't defeat him. We'll see about that. Hope everybody was able to read those lines. I know I scrolled through kind of quick there. But on the bright side, it's the return of the music, guys. Remember this track? We haven't heard it since, way back in Scenario 5. When Volkov was still with us. So that's how you know this is high stakes, serious fight here. And I think that I know they did that intentionally. If you've been paying attention, if you're as into the soundtrack as I am, you'll notice that we haven't heard this particular track, which I believe is called Thought of the Holy. I don't know if that's an accurate translation, but we haven't heard this since Scenario 5, so that's, what, a good 6 or 7 battles. 6 if you don't include this one. And they've just been alternating between the other 2 main player phase tracks. And I know that was intentional. I know they did that on purpose because they knew that you don't just throw a track like this around aimlessly. You don't just tack this on to any battle. You have to save this for the big ones. And this certainly qualifies, don't you think? So that's, I don't know, that's pretty cool to me. Don't ask me why. Again, I'm very much a music lover. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And back to the battle though. As you can see, we've split ourselves up into 2 groups. Not the best decision we've ever made in our lives, but not too detrimental. Thankfully, I've been here before, so not going to be doing anything too stupid. I'm sure there are even better strategies out there for dealing with this, but this is going to work for me. This is actually the most troops I've ever brought to this battle, besides the first time I did it, when I had no idea what I was getting into. Especially on this side. I normally do not bring this many over here, but I don't feel like taking any chances, and it's really going to make things easier. Moving forward, you'll probably see me bringing less and less troops into the battles, and I've probably said that before. I don't know how well I've done so far, but I do mean it. Normally, I will highlight 1 or 2 commanders to give a decent number of troops to, anywhere from 2 to 4. Depending on who I really want to get more experience, because that's what the troops are really good for. Anybody who doesn't really need it, it'll be leading in the army in many cases. They won't have many troops, if any. And pretty soon Taylor, because his level's getting pretty high, isn't it? So, yeah, he was behind for so long, and now he's about to be lapping everybody. If he isn't already, so he definitely can do with some cuts there. We'll just say they went on strike or something. And oh yeah, I didn't want to attack just yet there, so we're not going to. But yeah, this side here to the east is going to have it the worst, because they've got enemies to the south and the north in very close proximity, so these soldiers are all going to drop very quickly, but it's fine. They're really serving as a padding to get all of my generals close together and out of immediate harm's way very quickly. Especially Jessica, really want to be mindful of where she is, because again, even with that cross, her defense is still less than 20, so it wouldn't take much to put her down. Narm will hopefully help out to keep her safe. Only concern for Narm really over here is all of the magic that can be thrown our way. You see a spell user and a bishop right there. And the archers are capable of doing good damage there, especially with that attack jump that they're getting, so really want to be careful with everybody. Thorn and Hawking, thankfully, don't have much to fear from the arrows, so they're still capable of taking damage though, so again, don't want to take chances with anybody. So naturally, I want to get those horsemen as far away from those archers as possible, but I don't know how successful I'm going to be. Considering we're inside the interior, their movement's going to be a little stunted. And after a very long first turn, we get to see Dulce's attack. Gonna be expecting to see a lot of that. I hope your favorite number is 0, because yes, there's 2 right off the bat for you. 2 soldiers we're never gonna see again. Well, 20 really, but and this is why I brought so many, because I knew this was gonna happen. And again. And started off decent, ended poorly. And you'll notice that I have Thorn and Hawking over by those pillars. What I usually like to do in this battle is put both of them directly behind a pillar on the left and the right side. That way, when they're out of troops, or if they have no troops, they can only be attacked from 2 sides. This helps to keep them alive and slowly work the enemy's numbers down. At that point, their only major concern is, again, the spell users throwing offensive magic at them, which is why it's even more important to limit the number of positions they can be attacked from. I actually like to do the same thing with Jessica as well. Narm is usually strong enough at this point to where she can be a little bit more mobile, and I usually use her to pitch in and help out whichever commander's having the worst time of it, usually Jessica because of her defense. Also, keeping in mind, normally at this point I would have Narm a Dragon Knight, which makes this fight significantly easier, let me tell you, because her mobility allows her to go wherever she needs to go quickly, not to mention how strong she is. Pretty much as strong as a Grand Knight, but she has less defense as a Dragon Knight. But she can actually sit on top of the walls, the pillars, places that units normally can't occupy, giving her extra defense jump. So if the enemy does choose to attack her, they're gonna have a much tougher time of it. Plus she has flying units called Griffin Riders, and they also have great movement, can go anywhere you need them to. Great for pitching in and help out. They also have very weak defense, so they don't last long when they're attacked, but they do good damage. So whoever does choose to start something with them, they're not gonna walk away without any scratches. They're gonna remember that encounter. So sadly, Narm is the only person on our team who can become a Dragon Knight, but who knows, if we play our cards right, we might still see one through the course of this. But wait, isn't this the last battle? I mean, we're going up against the Emperor himself. Isn't this the whole point? We beat him, we get the sword, and that's it, right? Case closed. Happily ever after. Well, I think you know by now it's not going to be that easy. And that's really all I'm going to say. But for all intents and purposes, this is the final conflict, so I'm going to treat it as such. And miraculously, one of them made it out. Don't know how that old. And of course, they just couldn't let us have a moment of fun. No reprieve. And a couple that time. I'll take every little bit, and that's why I tried to get them as far away from them as possible. Never was one to spend time in the slaughterhouse. It's not my thing. And he's not wasting any time. Their first turn, he's already throwing spells our way. It's alright though, because I have Jessica and she's got lots of MP now, so it's like, what do we want to do? Do we want to throw out a couple of Earth Shakers? Leave a huge dent in just about everybody? Or do we just want to pelt out a steady stream of fireball attacks? Since it's much more cost effective and she's going to be able to do that quite a bit. I guess she could do it a total of 8 times at full MP. That's a lot of fire. And not a drop of water in sight. Okay, so when the Royal Guards start moving, that's your sign, that's our cue that the enemy is just about done. And it's finally back to us. So I need to finish getting these guys in position. It might look like I'm keeping the troops in a sort of haphazard position, especially those monks up top, but believe me, all with the purpose in mind. Just trust. And so, as we raise our shields and draw our swords, emblazoned by the heat from our hearts as they beat, we proceed as one unit, though separated due to the fallacy that is the flesh, under the weight of the realization that what will take place here, on this land, in these halls, by these hands, will neither be forgotten nor remembered, completely as it was, as it is, and shall come to commonly be believed to be. Yeah, time to poke him. Anytime I look at Albert, it always seems like he's just about to hit another level, so I must be getting good use out of him. That's a good thing. At this rate, he'll be making his final class in no time. Probably lapping Mina. Or, oh, wow, it's been a long time since I did that, Chris. Oh, and all is right with the world again. But yeah, he's definitely, I think he's gonna promote before she does, which is, it's not a bad thing. Everybody needs to get there, so this isn't a competition. We're on the same team, right? We're wearing different uniforms, but we're on the same team. You know, because Leiden doesn't run that tight of a ship. Say no, everybody express yourself, do your own thing. Alright, bringing our men down. Moving them around, spreading them out. I guess we can bring some more of these guys down too. Just being prepared, or trying to be a little bit, because I know we have another bishop on this side and he's going to throw out magic our way. Our generals will be able to take it. Troops, not so much. One hit from a spell on any of them pretty much guarantees that they're not going to be able to take out any of these men, and that they will fall under one attack. Still working with a lot here. Like typically Thorn and Hawking would have no men. Jessica might have 3 or 4 just to get through the first turn. Okay. Narm I would give men because, again, I use her as a support. Everybody on the west side, they generally wouldn't have any troops. Maybe a few for Chris, but that's about it. So, wow, level 2. Look at what that did. Look at the damage, and look at the area of effect. That's the best part about Earthquake that really makes it worth the huge cost. It's not even the amount of damage it does, but it's the area of effect, the number of people that it can target. Now, unfortunately, because of that space in between the walls there, we couldn't use it to create a shortcut bridging the two sides. That would have been really great if you could use that to get Leiden and his men over to the side quicker and just focus on one side at a time with everybody. But of course, they thought about that in advance, which is why we have that space in between anyway. No such luck. And actually, this is one of those battles I was talking about where it might be to your detriment to cast Earthquake. Because remember when I talked about those pillars earlier that I like to hide my commanders behind? Well, as you can see, the spell is quite capable of damaging those pillars, so they have no hiding place. So they're no longer able to only be attacked from two sides. Now they're fully open. Be careful about that. Since I'm not employing my usual strategies for this fight, I didn't really care. So, I mean, look, we've still got troops, and there's a pillar or two around if we still want to use them, but I don't think we'll have to. At this point, we're going to be more aggressive anyway, so. And that's really what you want to do with the spell users especially. Get in as quick as you can. It's better if you're not worried about experience like I am all the time. You can just aim straight for the commanders and end their troops instantly, but I do want experience, so we just want to take out a few troops on the way to the commanders, do some damage to them. Well, actually, we already have the bishop at 7, so he's not going to do anything but recover on his next turn, which is good. But that's the main thing. Get them down to 7 or less health so that they won't continue casting offensive magic. Because that's the worst thing about what we're dealing with here. You know, neuter them, and I'm not worried about the rest of their pups. Man, if I was a cat or a dog, I would hate to get neutered or spayed. I'm not criticizing those who do. You have your reasons, but couldn't do it. No, thank you. Well, I guess there are even some people who get neutered in a sense. You know, I know a lot of husbands after a certain point have that surgery that I won't speak of because it's not something I ever want to have to deal with. But anyway, let's stay focused on the fight here. Yeah, this is when we start moving our people up. Want to keep them together. Still got a lot of troops, but we're only in turn 2, so gonna enjoy this while I can. Just listen to that music. Oh, it's so good. Probably another reason this is one of my favorite fights. We get to listen to this. I was expecting them to do a little bit better, because their defense isn't even really that high. Ah, well, let's just wrap things up here and let Dulcis do what Dulcis does.